three. Deep to center field. This ball's crushed.
The Houston Astros return to the City of Angels for this second time in about 3 weeks. They were just here about 2.5 weeks ago. Thought there was going to be the beginning and the end to a long road trip. The Astros were happy to get home for 3 days in between to play the New York Mets. Tonight, the first of 3 with the Angels. The Astros continue to pace the way in the American League West, 13 games ahead of the second place Angels. The Rangers are 14 back, and the magic number for clinching the AL West currently stands at 7. The Angels a game back in the wild card picture. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, when you think about this road trip, good in Seattle, not so good in Oakland, kind of turn the page and get ready for the Angels.
Yeah, we'll talk about a roller coaster ride. Figure things are starting to look up a little bit. Then you run into a buzzsaw in Oakland. It's unbelievable. Just got to shake yourself and start a new series here in Anaheim.
In Seattle, we saw the debut for the Astros of one Justin Verlander, and today we'll see his second start.
And that's where things really started to go for the Houston Astros, is by having Justin Verlander in that clubhouse, number one, and then they actually got to see him go out there and do his stuff. 6 innings of strong baseball against a very good team, and you can see he leads the American League in starts, innings, strikeouts, and opponent batting average. We saw the entire arsenal that he comes at you with. The 91 to 99 mile an hour fastball. He also slider, cut, curveball. But the best part about it is watching him gain strength throughout the game and continue to compete. Last pitch he threw in that game, 99 miles an hour.
And on the other side, Garrett Richards is a guy they haven't had all year, and here he is starting in September.
Yeah, making his third start, coming off the DL after a biceps issue. He has been very good in the past against the Houston Astros. Fastball is firm. You're going to see, if you like spin rates and sabermetrics tonight, you're going to be a fun start for you, because both these guys, between Verlander and Richards, high spin rates on their four-seam fastballs.
Should be a fun matchup to watch. A couple of righties who could really bring it with the fastball, and we will have more as we continue on this first game of the 3-game series this Tuesday night from the city of Anaheim. Julie Morales will join us next to talk about some of the guys who have fared well in their careers against the Los Angeles Angels.
trip for the Astros. They were saying today it feels like we were just here playing their second series at Angel Stadium in about 3 weeks. These teams know each other very well, usually sets up for some good baseball games. But when you look at it, the Astros actually match up well against this team. And if you're looking for some examples, you got to start with Jose Altuve. He is one of the best hitters in the game. He's one of the best on the road. And of course, he's one of the best against the Angels. The 355 average is the best among active players right now. He also hits 343 in this ballpark. 11 hits away from 200 too, so watch for that tonight as he is in the lineup. And since the Astros saw the Anaheim last, Carlos Correa returned. Not great news for the Angels because he is slugging .614 with 9 home runs against this club, including 2 of the longest home runs he's ever hit in his career. They were absolutely monster shots right there. And then this year, if you're looking at just this season, there's a couple of left-handed hitters in there tonight against right-handed pitcher Garrett Richards. But Josh Reddick, who continues to stay hot, and then there's Brian McCann. These two have a combined 33 hits, 4 homers, 17 RBI, 14 runs scored between them. And McCann coming up with a huge hit in the last series, in the series finale of this last series that they had in Anaheim. So, sets up for a good one tonight. These Astros are ready to bounce back from a tough weekend, but having a nice off day was perfect for them as they had to reset, and they're facing a brand new team, and they're ready to go. Todd?
They are, and they were happy to have the off day, especially after that series in Oakland, losing all 4 games and losing in a big way, giving up 9 runs or more in all 4 of those. But today, a fresh start after the off day as they get ready for the first of 3 with the Angels. And we'll take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines. At the very top will be George Springer. He'll be followed by Josh Reddick. Jose Altuve is the 3-hitter. Carlos Correa back in the cleanup spot at shortstop. That'll be Marwin Gonzalez in the 5 spot in left field. Alex Bregman, the 3rd baseman, hitting 6th. Carlos Beltran will DH. Yuli Gurriel hits in the 8th spot. And Brian McCann, the catcher, bats 9th.
Garrett Richards on the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He's got a strong right arm, comes at you fastball in the mid-90s, also goes to that slider. He's very heavy on the fastball slider mix. It is a little bit of a cut to that fastball. He has faced the Astros in 12 career games. 9 of them have been starts, 5-3 in his career with a 3.73 ERA.
Angels coming in 1 game behind Minnesota in the wild card race. The Astros try to dwindle that magic number, which currently stands at 7 against the Angels. The Rangers are involved in that as well. For that matter, so is Seattle. Another pleasant night, a little warm this evening on a Tuesday night. 3 night games in a row for A.J. Hinch and the Astros, as they will head back home. They have been on the road for a long stretch. This will be at the end of this series 16 out of 19 games away from Minute Maid Park. That includes 3 games that were labeled home games played at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. Astros come in at 86-57, 2 games under 500 since the All-Star break. The Angels have been playing better since the break, as they have a record of 28-23. Springer coming in with a team-high 31 home runs, batting .293. Hitting .324 this month, and Garrett Richards with that high-octane fastball at 97 miles an hour misses inside to George, and we're underway. The Angels are kind of treating September like they normally would the month of March for Garrett Richards, trying to build him up and get him ready for what they hope is a postseason appearance. Called strike on the outside corner. Mike Scioscia has a full complement of relievers to choose from.
And he ain't afraid to use them either.
14 guys in the bullpen. So if Richards can't go deep into the game, that's fine for Scioscia, as he continues to try and build him back from that injury Blummer talked about. 1-2 the count on Springer.
Last time out, Garrett Richards only went 3 1/3 innings. Talking to A.J. Hinch, figuring 75 to 80 pitches for Garrett Richards. It's up to the Astros on how they use it, if they attack early on the fastball or they try and work the count. Only 2 walks in the 2 starts this season for Garrett Richards.
Richards, knowing he'll have a limited pitch count, will try and stay in the zone as much as possible. You can see on this warm night already working up a sweat here to the first batter. In those 3 1/3 innings, only threw 52 pitches in his start against the A's on the road. Prior to that, he pitched 1 rehab start and lasted 40 pitches in that outing.
Could explain the pitch usage from Garrett Richards also. Very heavy on that fastball, around 67%. Slider at 27%.
George reaching out and spoiling 97 that was painted on the corner. That's a nice job by Springer to stay alive.
Apparently velocity is not an issue for Garrett Richards.
You're going to see guys throwing from the right side as hard as anybody in the game. Garrett Richards and Justin Verlander matched up in this one. In on the hand, Springer hustling down the line, and they will flip to Richards covering just in time for out number 1. George grounds out to start this game. Giving a little scouting report back to his teammates. Richards is a guy they really are looking at as a big cog to this potential postseason push, and that's why they were as patient with him as they were. But if this was another time of the year, maybe he wouldn't have made that last start because he really wasn't built up in his pitch total. But knowing how important he is and knowing they have plenty of extra arms out there with roster expansion, making his second start in September. Here's a called strike to Josh Reddick. Josh had a nice series in Oakland to go along with a nice road trip so far. He's .438 on this trip to Seattle and Oakland. Takes a pitch high and away. It's 1-1.
Got some guys on this team that can hit the fastball. They like it 94 plus also.
Strike on the corner. It's 1-2. And a fastball upstairs at 96 gets Reddick on strikes. First strikeout for Garrett Richards.
Saw a similar pitch as far as location that Josh Reddick took out. There's a big difference as you see it on our MD Anderson strike zone cutting up and in. Is that this pitch at 96 is a little bit tougher to catch up to. He took Jarrell Cotton deep on a fastball up, but it was at 90 miles an hour.
And here's Jose Altuve. Julia mentioned those hits, 189 in total on the year, 11 shy of 200, and also that career best batting average against the Angels of anybody with a minimum of 250 plate appearances. Carrying a .396 batting average on the road this year. Takes a called strike. Richards has looked good early as he has thrown 9 of the first 11 for strikes. Jose tried to hold up, but he goes around. It's 0-2.
I would imagine the Astros hitters are selling out for the fastball. Sit on the fastball and don't make an attempt at that curveball or that slider until you have to in a 2-strike count. But it's tough when you have one that runs in on you like the last pitch did, and he has that natural cut on the outside corner.
Just missed the inside corner. It's 1-2. Martin Maldonado said, good pitch. That's where we wanted it.
Set up inside, miss inside. 96.
Yeah, he is looking pretty sharp early on. There's that breaking ball. We see it for the first time. He's only thrown the curveball this year when even or ahead in the count. Actually, just ahead of the count. He has not thrown it when even or behind in the count, and hasn't thrown any changeups this year. The changeup was a pitch he featured last season about 10% of the time, but this year has not broken it out in his 2 previous starts.
Get a pretty good idea. His delivery is max effort, and he is a max effort guy. He has got a good lather going.
Yeah, you can see it right away against Springer. And he gets Altuve on the slider. Couple of strikeouts, getting Reddick and Altuve, 2 strikeouts in the inning. Stadium in Anaheim, California, where the Astros and the Angels are scoreless. Angels batting bottom half of the first inning. Here's how they will line things up, and it looks very different than their lineup maybe 3 weeks ago as they picked up a couple of acquisitions at the end of August. Brandon Phillips, one of them, he's at the top, coming over from Atlanta. Mike Trout, we know about him. Justin Upton coming over from the Tigers. Albert Pujols, DHing. Cole Calhoun at right. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop. Luis Valbuena is at third base, C.J. Cron at first, and Martin Maldonado.
Justin Verlander going for your Houston Astros. Last time out, pitched extremely well against the Seattle Mariners, going 6, punched out 7. With that 7th strikeout, he has now gone 10 straight starts with at least 6 punch-outs in each game. I also think it's interesting that Mike Scioscia is choosing to go with a predominantly right-handed lineup against Justin Verlander. Since August 31st, right-hand hitters only hitting a .173 against Justin Verlander.
Misses on the first offering to Brandon Phillips. Phillips is coming over from the Braves, is hitting .214 with the Angels. When he left Atlanta, he was at .291 with 11 home runs and 52 runs batted in. But your numbers reset when you switch leagues, and right now for Brandon Phillips, that means he has a .214 batting average. A lot different looking lineup. Phillips in the 1 spot, Upton in the 3 spot, so a little space between Trout and Pujols now, and some guys throughout the lineup that can do damage. As Phillips sends one down the line and to left, that'll bounce in the corner, and Brandon Phillips has a leadoff double to start the bottom half of the first inning.
That is the first extra base hit in 87 at-bats for Brandon Phillips. Decided to sit on that fastball, got that fastball, threw the head at it, and yanked it down that left field corner.
Now Justin will face Mike Trout. Trout missed 39 games, hitting over 300 since coming back from the DL.
Got an opportunity. We're going to take a look at our Ford spray chart. Justin Verlander against Mike Trout. What is interesting to see is that he attacks the upper part of the zone against Mike Trout. That's where we've seen some weaknesses. Dallas Keuchel attacks up there. But you make some mistakes center cut, he's going to get you. Only 2 hits against Justin Verlander, and both of them have been home runs.
2 for 16 in his career. Breaking ball bounces in there. It's 1-1. Well, if you need to stop a losing streak, you don't mind seeing Justin Verlander on your side. Astros dropping 4 to the A's, looking to kick off this series in a positive manner. Verlander victorious in his start in Seattle with that 6 innings of 1-run baseball. Keuchel started game 1 in that series, Verlander game 2, and McCullers game 3. Didn't bite on the slider. It's 2-1. Trout has drawn a lot of walks, 83 of them, despite missing 39 games. He is 3rd in the American League in walks. 14 of those 83 are intentional walks. Again, doesn't bite, and it's 3-1. Trout tied with his teammate Justin Upton for the team lead with 28 home runs. Upton waiting on deck. All of Justin Upton's home runs coming with the Tigers. There's a ball hit well in the left field. Coming on and making the catch, and now a chance for a double play. Just getting back is Brandon Phillips. As Marwin Gonzalez came in and made a nice catch, and Brandon Phillips almost scurried too far off the bag.
Pretty good play from Marwin. Getting an opportunity out there in left field tonight at the Big A. Charging in. Almost turned into a play like he has at shortstop, throwing on the run, just a little bit off line. Last look on our Mattress Room Supermo camera sees that Brandon Phillips able to slide in just before the outstretched arm of Jose Altuve.
Now the matchup of a couple of teammates from the last 2 seasons, Justin Upton and Justin Verlander. Upton and Verlander moved on the same day, August 31st. Upton earlier in the day to the Angels, and Verlander said once that move was made, he thought maybe I am going to be traded. And here they are, just 12 days later, matching up on the West Coast for 2 different teams. Mention Upton with 28 home runs, 99 runs batted in. With the Angels still looking for his first home run, has 5 runs batted in 34 at bats. There's a called strike. 1-1 the count. $125 games with the Tigers before being moved for Justin Upton. And Verlander ahead, 1-2.
97 on that heater.
Couple of 97s early in this game from both sides, Garrett Richards and Justin Verlander. Angels as a team have struggled with high velocity fastballs this year. Again, this is before the acquisitions of Phillips and Upton, but as a team this year, 94 plus, they're 28th out of 30 teams with a 236 batting average against 94 plus velocity. That's hit well to left field. Marwin goes back. He'll make the play. Marwin's been challenged a couple of times, once coming in, now moving back, and he has made both the putouts against Trout and Upton for the second out. It is a Tuesday, Blummer. That means it's Twitter Tuesday. Today, we ask you what qualifies to be an MVP candidate. We just saw a picture of Justin Verlander, who won an MVP as a starting pitcher. Send your tweets in to @ATT Sportsnet SW. What's your definition of an MVP? The criteria. Should pitchers be eligible? Do you think a player needs to be on a playoff team, or how important is that? What stats do you look at? A lot of different categories today, all talking about the potential MVP. Either send them to our individual Twitter addresses or @ATT Sportsnet SW. First pitch to Albert Pujols is outside for a ball, 1-0. Pujols coming in batting .248. 94 runs batted in, the most on this team as an Angel. Verlander misses to Pujols. It's 2-0. Towards deep shortstop. Correa was very deep. They'll throw on 2 hops in time to get Pujols. And a good thing, because Phillips is coming around third trying to score. Pujols retired on the deep ground ball to short, and we are through 1 scoreless. Friday night's game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Occidental Petroleum. Next week's Friday night fireworks display will be synced up to a superhero theme. Visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS for more info. It will be good to get back after this road trip. Astros hoping to get that magic number whittled down while they're here in Anaheim. Give the home fans a chance to watch a little celebration sometime during that homestand, as Carlos Correa will lead off the top half of the second inning. It'll be Correa, followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Alex Bregman. After Garrett Richards was impressive in his first inning, throwing only 15 pitches, 12 for strikes. Some good signs from Carlos Correa in Oakland, Blummer, and he carries that forward here in his first AB in Anaheim.
That's a good sign, and he's one of the Astros that was looking for that fastball early, got it, and shot it right back up the middle. We saw him have some good ABs. We also saw him struggle a little bit, but he came out of it that last ball game, and he did it much like this, rifling baseballs back up the middle.
Correa was 2 for 3 on Sunday with a walk. Had 4 hits in that series against the A's, and now here's Marwin Gonzalez. Well, not a bad approach for Carlos. You see all those strikes being thrown in the first inning. He was hunting fastball, got one, and he's a leadoff base runner. Marwin swinging at the first pitch. Pops it way up in the air. Andrelton Simmons is there. Makes the play for out number 1. So Astros swinging at the first 2 pitches of this inning, a single and a pop-up. Here's Alex Bregman. Alex, good numbers overall the last few months, but hit a little rough patch so far on this road trip, batting .208 on the trip. Still a season average up to .284 with 16 home runs and 58 RBIs. Hitting some tough luck on this trip as well. He takes a fastball down low, 1-0. Angels are hoping over the course of the next 3 weeks to round out this schedule that they will have Garrett Richards fully stretched out. See how deep he can take tonight's game, but definitely on a pitch count. Missed the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-1. Mike Scioscia knows if Garrett Richards had health all season long, he might be looking at a team in first place or second place in the wild card picture, as opposed to a game behind the Minnesota Twins as it stands tonight. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Maldonado. He has been a workhorse behind the plate all year. Nobody has caught more games in the major leagues than Martin Maldonado, catching his 123rd game. Wild card picture, the Yankees continue to stay on top of the American League wild card race. The Twins are up 13-0 tonight at home against San Diego, so the Angels will need to win to keep pace, barring a 13-run comeback by the Padres, who don't score a lot of runs. Check swing. Bregman didn't mean to, but he's even at the count, 2-2.
So he's sitting on that outside part of the plate. Saw that curveball hang up. Looks enticing when you see it hanging out over the plate like that.
Now they come back inside on Bregman after staying away, and he rockets one into center field for a base hit. 2 hits in the inning, both singles to center, Correa, and now 1 out later, Alex Bregman.
He's been swinging a hot bat for a long time, and a lot of the reason why is because he is so short and direct to the baseball. It's a good pitch to launch right back up the middle like he did. But again, I think it's because Alex Bregman is not trying to get too big. Just trying to go gap to gap. I think he's a doubles machine. But if you make a mistake, he's able to crack one and make it hurt deep in the seats. Well, that's a great 2-strike approach.
Here's Carlos Beltran. 2 on and 1 out. He swings the first pitch and fouls one back. Beltran hitting from the left side. That's where most of his pop has been this year. 13 of his 14 home runs and 42 of his 49 runs batted in. Richards has really struggled with injuries through the last 3 or 4 seasons, but when healthy, his numbers are comparable ERA-wise to almost anybody in the American League. This is inside. It's 1-1.
It's only his 9th start in the last 2 years. In the previous 8 starts at 2.11 ERA. And I'm with you. First couple times I got a chance to watch him pitch here in the American League West, he was lights out. Firm with good movement on the fastball. A couple of power sliders and breaking balls to go for the strikeout.
Beltran pops it high in the air, foul. Maldonado gives it a look, but it heads to the crowd.
If you had any complaints, it might be a couple of bouts with wildness. 17 walks in those 8 previous starts. That's a problem you have when you throw hard and you got movement.
Yep. He has been filling up the zone tonight, though. 76% strikes in the early going. And the Astros, knowing that, have come out aggressive, swinging a lot of first pitches. Correa, Beltran, Gonzalez. Carlos gets a breaking ball and he's well in front of it. Pulls it foul. It's that curveball that he'll throw. We mentioned usually ahead of the count. Last year, the tear in the elbow ligament for Richards. Decided not to have Tommy John surgery. Prior to that, a couple years earlier, had a torn patella tendon in his left knee. That was in late 2014. So he's dealt with a variety of injuries. And then this year, with a biceps injury after his first start. Just 3 starts in. This was his 3rd start of 2017. And the Astros trying to get to him here in the 2nd inning. Chases a slider. Good one from Richards. Picks up his 3rd strikeout. And there's 2 outs in the 2nd. I'll bring up Yuli Gurriel. You can see what Yuli's done on this road trip. The average down to 288. Yuli batting in the 8th spot tonight. Beltran, Gurriel, Bregman, not your everyday 7, 8, 9 hitters. Excuse me, Beltran, Gurriel, McCann, not your everyday 7, 8, 9 hitters. 0-1 the count to Yuli. Correa and Bregman on base with base hits and 2 outs. Outside, it's 1-1.
First 2 pitches are a good indication they don't want to get anywhere near Yuli with a fastball. First pitch slider.
There's a line drive into center field. Base hit. On comes Trout. Around third comes Correa. The throw home is going to be cut off. The Astros take a 1-0 lead. Yuli Gurriel with an RBI single.
That might be why, because he can hit it. He's a high exit velocity guy, hunts the fastball, got himself one that he could handle, and we've seen 3 base hits in this inning, all going right back up the middle. Astro hitters not trying to do too much. Understand that cut fastball on the outside part of the plate is going to be tough to get around and yank out to left field, so they're just staying up the middle with it. Gary Pettis, no problem testing Mike Trout's arm with Carlos Correa's speed.
That'll bring up Brian McCann. He has been on a nice little run since coming back from the DL. McCann has reached base all 10 games and has a .367 batting average in that stretch. He takes one up and in for a ball. It's 1-0. The guys in the lineup for the Astros tonight. McCann has the lone home run against Garrett Richards. Another slider misses inside, and it's 2-0. McCann has talked about how much better he feels after resting that knee for 10 days. Nice little break in a long season. It's good to have him coming off an off day after what he went through on Sunday in Oakland. He caught a lot of pitches and was pretty much worn out at the end of that game. 2-0 pitch grounded towards the middle. Simmons will take it himself and get the force out on Gurriel to end the inning. But Yuli gives the Astros the lead on an RBI single. It's 1-0.
We move to the bottom of the second. Justin Verlander back to work, and when the Astros acquired him, they expected him to make an immediate impact on the field. But bringing in a guy like Verlander with all the experience, all the leadership, that can have an effect on your club as well, especially in that clubhouse. Well, AJ said that part took less than 24 hours to start impacting his players. He said people are just gravitating towards him from day one. Position players, pitchers, it didn't matter. Everyone wanting to get his opinion, getting that fresh perspective from him. But for him, he actually asked a lot of questions coming in, came in with more of a humble approach, as AJ put it, and blended into this clubhouse perfectly. Todd.
Yeah, on game days, Julia, he is locked in. There's certain pitchers that don't mind chatting on game days, but Justin Verlander is one of those guys that kind of has a little inner focus going on his start days.
Yeah, he gets on the bus with his headphones on, no eye contact. He has got one thing on his mind, it's pitching.
0-2 the count as he's ahead of Cole Calhoun.
And I've got no problem with that. That's just how guys are. You want to respect these guys that are going out there once every 5 days. And everybody's a little bit different.
Verlander working with a lead for the first time after the Yuli Gurriel RBI single in the top half of the second. Fastball away. It's 1-2. McCann went through 3 signs, and Justin didn't like any of those. Thought it was interesting last time he threw a 2 down, which is normally a breaking ball, and Justin threw a fastball. So a little different sequencing with their signs as Yuli Gurriel, even without anybody on second base, Yuli Gurriel making the play for out number 1 in the second inning.
Yeah, in this day and age, sign stealing, maybe they're mixing it up. Or it could be just the second type of fastball that he has. He may have multiple heaters, especially when you're ranging between 91 to 99 miles an hour with it.
And even though McCann and Verlander know each other and have worked together one start, they're still a little getting to know each other. Second start around, it's not like you've had spring training to work. So Brian, as good as he is behind the plate, knows that his starting pitcher has a certain mindset too of what he wants to throw, especially in a 2-strike count. Justin likes this sign to start the AB. Misses with a fastball in on Andrelton Simmons. It's 1-0.
Well, as much baseball as Justin Verlander has played and Brian McCann, you wonder if Justin maybe saw something in the swing of Calhoun or the approach that maybe took his mind off whatever particular game plan they had going originally.
Fastball popped up. Altuve drifts out. He makes the call and puts it away for out number 2. Well, Blummer, our Twitter Tuesday is about MVPs and what constitutes an MVP, what criteria, should it be a playoff team, can a pitcher be eligible? What are your thoughts with the whole MVP discussion?
I like the idea of the guy being on a playoff contender because that means he's helping his team win. I also believe it's got to be somebody that if you do unplug him, your team takes a little bit of a step back. Altuve's that guy, but that's also why that WAR number's out there, because he is a win above replacement. And Altuve's one of those guys that leads in those categories. OPS is a good number, but I think it can be skewed sometimes because when you compare it to Mike Trout, he may have a higher OPS. He's a slugger, and teams pitch around him because they don't want to face him in key situations. For me, Altuve's the MVP just because they always pitch to him. He has always had an opportunity to contribute, always had an opportunity to have impact on his team. This year, he has the potential to have 25-plus home runs, 85-plus RBIs, 100-plus runs scored, and 35 stolen bases. That is pretty much running the gamut of what he can bring to an offense. Top, middle, part of the order type guy. Plays a really good defense. Did I mention he's adorable?
He's pretty good.
Yeah. He's got my vote. It's easy.
I saw something today in USA Today where they polled 10 of their guys that are going to have MVP votes, and he got all 10 votes. So
how about that?
Still 3 weeks to go.
Yep.
But right now you'd have to say Jose Altuve is the lead horse in that race for MVP.
And that's only assuming he gets 2 more home runs before the end of the season. Only 9 more RBIs.
Right.
He might exceed that too. It could be incredible.
You saw him peek into his hat right before the first batter. I guess that's where he keeps his defensive alignment chart.
Yeah, they don't have to wear the quarterback wristbands. They just look at the spray chart up underneath the lid.
Plus, he's fun to watch, like you said. The adorable factor has to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he's always having a great time. The joy he plays with, the passion for the game.
Consistency helps out too. I know you can't look back at previous years, but my goodness, consistency is one thing. He gets better every year.
And if you hit 485 for an entire month, that's not bad either.
That does help.
1-2 the count on Luis Valbuena, and he takes one away for a ball. It's 2-2. Valbuena, who spent the last 2 years with the Astros, coming in batting .197, does have 13 home runs and 31 RBIs in his last 34 starts, and up to 19 home runs on the season.
You got any differing ideas on MVP?
No, I like it. I do think I saw that one tweet that came in while you were talking about, shouldn't be punished for his teammates' lack of success or something to that effect. But I do think being on a winning team, unless your numbers are that much better than anybody else, and we've seen it with Andre Dawson in the past with the Cubs and others, but to me, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can have exceedingly good year and just freak out, put up massive numbers all the way across the board and win it. But I mean, maybe that's a little part of the traditionalist in me that says I want to see you on a championship caliber team, because I feel like there's a lot more focus on you when you are.
And as far as pitchers, and I know I'm speaking on a night when Justin Verlander's pitching and he won MVP, but in terms of pitchers, I kind of like the possibility if there's a dominant closer, because he gets in more games. But for me, a starter, it would be really tough. Just the 33, 34 starts a year out of 162. You can be considered, certainly.
Yeah, it better be a very high winning percentage.
Swing and a miss. Verlander gets a strikeout of Luis Valbuena. Justin's first strikeout of the night in a 1-2-3 second inning. Spotlight falls on Jose Altuve and Mike Trout, front runners for the American League MVP. Trout, despite missing 39 games, has put up monster numbers. Altuve has done it all year long for the Houston Astros. Two pretty good guys to spotlight in our Shiner Box Spotlight. Did Trout finish first or second yet again?
Again, how many years in a row would that be? 6, 4, 5? Seems like every year he's in contention and he'll steal some votes. How about middle part of the season? We were having the conversation, would Carlos Correa steal votes from Altuve, and would Altuve steal them from Correa? That might be a conversation we have again next year.
And this guy too.
Yeah, you ain't lying. He can put up some mad numbers too.
In that poll I told you about, where Altuve got all 10 votes in the USA Today poll, Springer was tied for 5th with Angelton Simmons in the voting.
There we go.
So George with a strong finish could end up somewhere in the top 5. We'll see. It'll be Springer, Reddick, and Altuve this inning against Garrett Richards. Richards throwing 15 pitches in the first, 18 in the second. We'll keep a close eye on that, as he will be on a limited pitch count tonight. 1-1 the count to Springer, who grounded out to first in the first. George sends one high to left field. Upton is back, almost to the warning track, and Justin makes the catch on the track. George didn't miss that by much, sending it to the warning track and left.
Yeah, he just missed it. May have gotten a little bit quick off the end of the bat.
Richards has 3 strikeouts, a couple of ground outs, and a couple of outs in the air. Here's Josh Reddick. He struck out his first time up. Reddick won't get MVP consideration like those other three we talked about, but this guy has been about as good as anybody, especially in the second half.
Everybody holds value in a different way, but Josh Reddick, for me, has really jumped out there and done a great job.
High to center field, sending Trout back in front of the warning track. Josh got under that one a bit. And 2 deep fly ball outs to start the third. Julia?
Hey, it's time to show you today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting and following. That's where you can find us, though, at ATT Sportsnet SW. With the season in its final weeks, who is Altuve's biggest competition for AL MVP? Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Jonathan Scope. Tell you who wins later in the broadcast, Todd.
Ramirez A, Judge B, Trout C, Scope D. In the first half, it would be a no-brainer. It would have been Judge.
Yeah.
Second half,
not so much.
No, not so much. But this guy keeps rolling along. 351 on the year. 396 coming in on the road. Nobody's had a higher average on the road for an entire season. In the last 13 seasons, Ichiro hit over 400 in 2004. Who do you say? You think Trout? Biggest competition?
Yeah. Year in, year out, yeah.
No, I'm just saying for this year. Who our Stroh poll right now? It's
Trout, because eventually he's going to qualify,
right?
For some of these numbers and be on those lists. But the sheer massive numbers points at Jose Altuve, and even with what Trout's done, Altuve's beating him in some of these categories.
Right. Altuve continues to lead in on-base percentage, tied for first coming in. By far the lead in hits. Second in runs scored. Batting average, not even a contest.
Ho-hum, another 200-hit season upon him.
And leading the league in steals.
Man.
Fouls this pitch away. It's 1-2.
I thought it was kind of interesting earlier here in the conversation with Andrelton Simmons possibly getting some votes as you look at the MVP race with some of the numbers these guys are putting up. And the OPS for me that I was talking about earlier is a little bit skewed. I know Mike Trout is a high-power guy with those 28 home runs. He's only scored 82 runs when he gets on base. Altuve is going to be well over 100. But a lot of that OPS is the on-base percentage. They pitch around Mike Trout, even with Albert Pujols hitting behind him. So that's where that OPS number gets a little glorified for me. It's a good number. It's a great number to look at, and I think it's fun to talk. But if you're talking MVP, Altuve's swinging the bat more than he's walking.
And as much as Trout was pitched around in the first half and through the month of August, I think that was one of the big reasons why they went out and got Justin Upton. They were hoping to have a guy who could hit behind Trout, and Pujols certainly brings the lumber, but Upton's got the whole.
Well, you have Pujols, Upton hitting right behind Trout, so Trout moves up from that 3 spot into the 2 spot, and you have 2 power right-handed bats behind him now.
On the ground, slowly hit, but Simmons is getting there, and 2 hops and gets Altuve for the final out. A 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Richards, just like he had in the first. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Back at the Big A, Angels Stadium in Anaheim. Seems like we were just here, and we were. About 2.5 weeks ago. Astros and the Angels on a Tuesday night, kicking off a 3-game series. Big series to start for the Angels as they are home with their playoff lives on the line and face the Astros for 3. That'll be followed up by some tough series. The Texas Rangers come in town for 3. Then the Cleveland Indians come in town for 3. And then after that 9-game homestand against the Astros, Rangers, and Indians, they will go on the road trip that starts at Minute Maid Park for 3. So these next 12 games, kind of a make or break for Mike Scioscia and his group. 1 game back in the wild card picture. 19 games to go for both teams. 1-1 to count to C.J. Cron. And against those teams, they have not fared well. They're combined 11-21 against the Astros, Rangers, and Indians. Well, anybody facing the Indians right now does not have a good record. Cron, Maldonado, and Brandon Phillips, 8-9-1 in the Angels lineup. On the West Coast, we get scores early, and the Indians have done it again today. 20 in a row. 2-0 winners over Detroit. Tomorrow they go for an American League record 21 straight wins. Never before it's happened in the AL. There's a pitch outside. It's 2-2.
It's incredible stuff.
They are now tied for second longest. Blummer, they've only trailed in 4 innings out of 180.
In those 20 wins, they are at plus 102 in the run differential. They are destroying people. They're not just winning, they're just breaking egos.
Pop up on the infield. Bregman is back. In the process, they've passed the Astros for the best record in the American League. And they've also passed the Washington Nationals for the second best record in all of baseball. And the way the Dodgers are going lately, who knows? I mean, it's very unlikely they catch the Dodgers, but 16 out of 17 on one side in the loss column and 20 in a row in the win column on the other side. Here's Martin Maldonado. There's a called strike. Been one of the crazier seasons, and September has been as crazy as any month this season, watching these streaks from both the Indians and the Dodgers in 2 different directions. You throw in this road trip, it's been a weird road trip for the Astros. Sweep the Mariners, who are very much alive in the wild card picture, and get swept in Oakland in games that weren't really that competitive, to be honest, by a team who had been eliminated in the division. As A.J. Hinch looking out from the dugout.
Yeah, you can look at it in several different ways.
You know, that's only happened 5 times since 1901, where teams have been swept in a 4-game series and allowed 9 runs in every game. It doesn't happen.
Dubious honor.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. It was one of those wacky series where the A's were on everything, it seemed, fouling off pitches, scoring runs, especially late against the bullpen. And the Astros couldn't get anything going. 2-1 to count to Maldonado. This is the high fastball. It's 2-2.
Yeah, you could look at that series and say Astros have serious deficiencies, or you can just say, hey, we just got wiped out in a 4-game set. We're going to roll it up into a little ball, throw it in the trash can, and move on.
I think the off day helped for sure.
Yeah.
Clear the slate a little bit facing these Angels. AJ pretty much said the same. Happy to have the off day. Said certain points of the season you don't necessarily want the off day, but they were glad to get it.
Well, and I don't think AJ was pushing the narrative that they were worried about the best record in the American League, but I think that kind of may have, seeped in and crept in a little bit into the psyche of these guys, and then went out and got waxed, and they saw what the Cleveland Indians are doing. And I think after that series in Oakland, they need to sit back, look at Cleveland, and say, hey, give them a golf clap and say, great job, way to go. We'll worry about the playoffs when we get there. And I think right now, that shift in mentality is strictly on winning the division, winning it outright, having a great time, and embracing the fact they've had a phenomenal season.
And they have a guy named Justin Verlander making his second start. So they've got that going for them.
Yeah, that's okay.
That'll work. 2-2 the count to Maldonado. Verlander first time through the lineup facing the number 9 hitter. Allowed a leadoff double to Brandon Phillips. And he's retired the next 8, including a strikeout right there of Martin Maldonado. Second strikeout for Verlander, 2 away in the 3rd. Julia?
Well, that off day just being a really perfect time for this club after the series that you guys mentioned in Oakland for so many reasons. One, some of the relievers we talked to after that series didn't really have an answer for what happened. They couldn't even tell you what went on those 4 days. And we heard Dallas Keuchel say just a really funky series. And it's baseball. Sometimes that happens. But what a great opportunity to take the off day. Everyone go out. Verlander, of course, having dinner with some of his new teammates. That was a good chance for them to get away. And like you guys mentioned, the clean slate, just start over here in a series with the Angels is just really good time for that.
There you see what happened in the month of September, and a lot of that was in that series against the A's. The bullpen dropping down to 22nd in all of baseball in ERA and dead last in the month of September. When you give up runs late like the Astros bullpen did in Oakland, that number is going to be tough to come back from for a while. 2-0 the count to Brandon Phillips. He has the only hit. He's the only base runner of this game for the Angels. A double to left his first time up. Phillips fouls one back. It's 2-1. Phillips, a guy who reached a plateau earlier this year that rarely happens for second baseman. He has 2,000 hits, 200 home runs, and 200 stolen bases. Roberto Alomar, Joe Morgan, Ryan Sandberg, and the Astros Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, the other second baseman to accomplish that. Pitch misses. It's 3-1. Phillips said it was hard for him to make that decision to leave his hometown of Atlanta. But after talking to his family, decided that going for a ring and making a playoff push was most important as he grounds one to shortstop where Correa makes the play. And Justin Verlander has retired 9 straight as we head to the 4th.
TV every night on every device. Get every out-of-market regular season game live, plus a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Fun time of the year to watch baseball. 3 weeks to go. 19 games for both of these teams remaining. The Astros have 10 games remaining on the road, plus the 9-game homestand, which begins Friday night. And then that's it. Then it's time for October baseball.
Second season.
Yep. Astros with a magic number of 7 over the Angels, 6 over the Rangers starting tonight's play. That number has a chance to go down against the Rangers as they are down 10-3 to Seattle in the 9th inning. Correa singled to center field his first time up. Takes a called strike. Well, you mentioned at times during his career Richards had struggled with command, but tonight he's really been on point with that fastball. 32 pitches for strikes out of 46.
It's been good with the fastball inside and the fastball away. Seen a couple of sliders, even a couple of breaking balls.
Into center field, Trout has it lined up and makes the play. Correa out for the first out of the 4th inning.
Good swing. That almost ate up Mike Trout. Kind of knuckling out there.
He started to come in on it and then caught it somewhat awkwardly by his chin. Correa watching a replay here on the big board that showed Trout's reaction, which indicated that it was a knuckleball out there. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin popped up his first at bat. What creates the dynamic? You know, the physics behind. I mean, if you hit it well.
Well, when they say squared it up, that's what squaring it up means. It means that the baseball impacting with the bat stops the rotation. You've hit it so purely that it just redirects it without a rotation on the baseball.
So it's fair to say the at-bats we've seen from Correa the last 2 or 3 games are much better than the last week prior to that.
Staying up the middle of the ballpark, hitting the ball hard, not panicking. He looks decisive too. For me, it's approach a little bit too. The mindset is telling him that he is in good shape to put good swings on the baseball, because we saw early on when he first came off the DL, he was a little indecisive. There were some pitches we felt that he might have crushed recently, but was taking them. Some late swings, it tells you foot's getting down and the hands are drifting a little bit, but now he looks like he's in a pretty good setup.
Marwin tried to bunt his way on the 1-1 pitch. Bunted it off his foot. Mike Scioscia was on the top step of the dugout hoping that maybe they would get an out called on Gonzalez, but Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire, said he was still in the box. Scioscia with his 18 years with the Angels, longest tenured active manager. 1-2 pitches upstairs. It's 2-2. Last pitch on the curveball slipped out of Richards' hand. Chopped off the plate. Richards will make the play himself, and he will tag Marwin for the second out of the inning. Richards not taking any chances, makes the play himself, and there's 2 away.
Colossal chop off the plate. Good bounce by Richards.
Here's Alex Bregman. He singled his first time up. Singles in the inning from Correa, Bregman, and Yuli Gurriel, resulting in the Astros' first run. Since that RBI single by Gurriel, Richards has retired the next 6 as he faces Bregman. Starts him off with a slider for a strike. Mentioned that Richards will be on a strict pitch count tonight, just his second start back after 1 minor league rehab assignment. And with that in mind, Blake Wood begins to loosen up in the Angels bullpen as the pitch count for Garrett is reaching the mid-50s. There is the right-hander Blake Wood, one of 14 Angels relievers out there.
Plenty of game left.
Breaking ball called, third strike. He froze Bregman on the curveball and picks up his 4th strikeout of the game. Still 1-0 Astros. Astros lead the Angels 1-0. Astros scoring a run in the 2nd inning. And now Justin Verlander will face the 2-3-4 hitters in the Angels lineup. 2nd time through, Mike Trout, Justin Upton, and Albert Pujols. Trout hit the ball hard his 1st time up, but lined out to the left fielder Marwin Gonzalez. Astros do shift Trout on the infield. Altuve on the 3rd base side of the bag. In the outfield, though, George Springer, as you can see, is shaded a little bit towards right. Big hole between Springer and Marwin Gonzalez in the outfield as Trout has a 2-0 count. Slicing down the line, long run Reddick near the crowd, runs out of room. Has a couple rows deep. Counts 2-1. Altuve is AL MVP, and pitchers should not be considered. That's the latest in our tweets. MVP to me is a 5-tool player, team leader, and tangible skills. Hashtag Jose Altuve. Outside it's 3-1. Doing the math today, you need 3.1 plate appearances per number of games your team has played. So Trout, coming in with 432 plate appearances, would need 444 starting tonight's play to be qualified. So he's 12 shy. As we watch with Marwin Gonzalez, it's a slow trek to get above that threshold. There's a called strike, 3-2.
Nice pitch, 3-1 with the slider. So it'll be a little bit closer towards the end of the season when Mike Trout does become available on a lot of those leading lists.
Another breaking ball that's grounded foul. So down in the count 3-1. Verlander a couple of wrinkles up there to Mike Trout. Justin in his first start with the Astros did not throw the cutter, did not throw the changeup. Fastball, slider, curveball. Curveball comes in around 80-81, slider around 88-89. And he misses with the slider there, outside ball 4. Well, Trout draws his 48th walk in his last 50 games. He's a leadoff base runner in the 4th. That'll bring up Justin Upton. In the matchup of former Tigers, Upton lined out his first time up. Verlander will be very aware of Trout at first base. Trout has 20 steals. Nobody throws over to first more often than Justin Verlander.
I think it's just a credit to Justin Verlander and his baseball knowledge. Could just stand up there and try and pump heaters and try and strike everybody out, but he is aware, like you said, of Mike Trout's ability to steal bases. So one of the things he can do to try and help out Brian McCann, who has had his issues throwing runners out, is pick over.
And when you look at Verlander's numbers through his career,
you look at him.
Nice. There used to be a lot more stolen bases against him than there have been the last 2 or 3 seasons. So he's worked on holding runners, improving that pickoff move, delaying his times to the plate.
Or maybe he just likes the attention from opposing fans.
Well, Upton's seen this in the outfield before.
Yes, yep.
He knows this is nothing new for Verlander. Go 2, 3, 4 times in a row over to first base. Now the delivery home, and Upton swings and misses. It's 0-1 on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Twins have won tonight, so the Angels, as we speak, trail in the wild card picture by a 1.5 games. Fastball misses in. 1-1.
Not even a good move. He's doing it on purpose.
Strike on the corner. It's 1-2. Nice pitch at 96. Verlander allowed an opening double by Brandon Phillips and retired 9 in a row before the leadoff walk to Mike Trout in the 4th. Ground ball toward short. Correa charges, flips to Altuve 1. The return throw low, scooped by Gurriel for the double play. Correa, Altuve, Gurriel, and Verlander gets a big double play off the bat of his former teammate Justin Upton.
Not only does picking over keep the guy from stealing, it keeps him right there and keeps him leaning towards first and keeps that double play in order. Some big league baseball being played behind Justin Verlander on that ground ball from Justin Upton. It's a good job by Carlos Correa to come get the baseball. It was a good job to get the flip right where Altuve wanted it. And how about Yuli? Nice pick to finish it off. You talk about hitters getting in a rhythm. If you get this defense in a rhythm going into the playoffs, playing behind some of the pitching they have, That'd be an added bonus.
Plummer, we noticed this in the first at bat for Pujols. I'm not sure I've seen a shortstop play any deeper.
Yeah, this is interesting. You're right. Good point.
We see the shift with the right side of the infield. Obviously, it's a shorter throw for the second baseman, so second baseman can play in shallow right, but you never see a shortstop out there.
Yeah, that's not normal, and that's not Marwin Gonzalez. Oddly enough, he plays everywhere, but that's Carlos Correa playing a deep short, and the reason is the 3 or 4 anchors that Albert Pujols is pulling down the base pad. He's got plenty of time. We saw it. He caught that ground ball last time, basically threw a ground ball to first base, and it still beat Albert.
In the StatCast sprint leaderboard, Pujols is last in the major leagues.
Hence the anchor.
Hence the positioning for Correa. It's a great ploy. It's got to be frustrating for Pujols too, because that gives Correa that much more range. This one chopped off his foot.
Well, how great is it? That was the first time we've actually seen Carlos Correa play that deep, and it worked on the first at bat against Albert Pujols. So kudos to the coaching staff.
There are guys underneath giving each other high fives.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere there's a internal processor high-fiving the conductors and all that stuff underneath in the circuit board. Some hard drive is just smiling ear to ear.
Love it. 1-2 the count.
It's the length of my technological knowledge.
Ground ball to Bregman. Correa doesn't have to worry about this one as Alex sidearms it across, and a 1-2 throw. Well, with the help of a double play, it turns into a 3-batter, 3-out inning. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Jack in the Box. Come try the new really big chicken sandwich combo for just $3.99 for a limited time only. And by USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. Oh, it's nice coming out to Southern California for baseball. The Astros 3 times a year normally. They'll do it 4 times next year with the Dodgers on the road schedule as the 2018 schedules came out today. Carlos Beltran will lead things off for the Astros in the 5th inning. Houston leading 1-0 on an RBI single by Yuli Gurriel. Plummer, when the Astros play the NL West in interleague play, Astros after dark, it's a lot more at-bats and ample opportunities.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Astros after dark. Recently here in Anaheim, it's been Astros after midnight. Thanks to Mike Scioscia and his pitching changes. Hopefully he doesn't continue that trend.
Well, at some point he's going to have to lift Garrett Richards as they still have more bullpen action going just because of a pitch count, not because of any lack of effectiveness. Here's the highlights for the series for the 2018 season. Schedule opens in March. It's going to start earlier this upcoming season for more built-in off days. Home opener will be against the Baltimore Orioles after starting in Texas. You see the interleague includes trips to LA, Colorado, San Fran, and Arizona. Only 8 games against the division in the month of September. There's always going to be a swing team when you have a 5-team division, and next year the Astros won't be home or won't be playing divisional games much down the stretch.
That's going to be weird. Just in the sense you're not able to take care of those in-division opponents like the Astros are trying to do right here and push them down and out of the way and clinch.
For an example, the Angels are in the midst of 25 in a row against the AL West.
Wow.
They are locked into the divisional play right now as Gurriel, who had that single his first time up, takes a strike. It's 2-1. Mike Scioscia's team starting that stretch August 21st, and he will wrap up on the 17th. At the end of this week, that stretch of games against divisional opponents before they take on the Cleveland Indians. If you're going to go out of the division, that's the last team you want to see.
And in the West, currently they are 33-31. So it hasn't actually been beneficial as far as the winning percentage, much like the Astros, who are 40-24 in the West.
2-2 the count to Yuli. There's a ball into center field coming on Trout, and he'll have to play it on a hop. Yuli Gurriel is 2 for 2. Astros with their 4th hit, all singles, and Gurriel a 1-out base runner in the 5th.
Got a little bit quick up in the zone on that 94-mile-an-hour cutter. Got it off the end of the bat, but much like a changeup, just drops in front of that outfielder.
Here's Brian McCann. Yuli had never faced Garrett Richards before tonight. With those injuries we talked about the last 2 years with Garrett, and Yuli just starting his career last season. McCann swings and misses. Ryan grounded to a fielder's choice his first time up. One of the oddities to the schedule next year is that the Astros and the Rangers, the Lone Star Series, it's going to wrap up in July.
Yeah, you better get all that in-state angst out of your system early.
No August or September matchups in the battle for the silver boot. 0-1 on the ground. Phillips has it, flips to Simmons, and Simmons returns for the double play. Phillips, Simmons, Chrome wraps up the 5th inning. We are halfway home with the Astros leading 1-0.
Five here at the Big A, 1-0. Astros over the Angels. The Houston Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit youcaring.com/AstrosHarvey to donate today.
Sorry, Blummer.
It's all right. I know you're anxious to tell everybody how good the Angels were trying to help out. They had their own food bank drive for Harvey relief. It was earlier today. They were gathering up the goods. We appreciate all the help for all of our family back in Houston, our expansive family in the city and surrounding areas of Houston.
Saw the Mariners have a drive as well, and a lot of people around the AL West really doing a nice job chipping in. And Houston strong. Those are the shirts. A couple fans in Anaheim getting their hands on those Houston strong shirts. Justin Verlander hasn't had much offense to work with in his 2 starts. It was a 1-1 game when he was finished after 6 innings in Seattle. And then his buddy Cameron Maybin hit a 2-run home run. Here's a line drive caught by Jose Altuve, perfectly placed in the shift, had to move a little bit to his right. And Calhoun is retired for the first out of the 5th inning.
It's getting the Nolan Ryan treatment. Not much run support.
He's been locked into a couple of good pitching duels. Last time the Astros scored a run in the 3rd for him. Kyle Seager hitting a home run. That was the only run Verlander allowed in his first Astros start. Ariel Miranda allowed just 1 run in 6 innings for the Mariners on that day. It may be the end of Garrett Richards' night. He's nearing that pitch plateau that Mike Scioscia was focused on, and there's still more bullpen action going for the Angels. So Richards may be done after 5 innings, allowing 4 hits and a run.
Yeah, it'll be interesting the choice that he does make. It hasn't been exactly high stress other than that 2nd inning for Garrett Richards. And that was only 3 base hits. He hasn't given up anything that's been even remotely close to being an extra base hit.
Last start was 3 1/3 innings. Here's a ground ball towards the middle. Correa has it. And Simmons is retired by the opposing shortstop for the 2nd out. Julia?
Mike Scioscia talking about Garrett Richards today, and we're hoping to get him a little bit deeper in the game, only throwing the 52 pitches last time out. But he said, you got to be efficient and you got to be good because Justin Verlander is on the mound for the Houston Astros. So it changes the mindset for really everyone when Justin's on the mound.
Justin has been very good, only allowing 2 base runners so far, and one of those 2 was erased on a double play. Here's Luis Valbuena taking a called strike. And the other thing with Richards, again, he only had 1 rehab start. So 1 rehab start where he went 2 innings, and then last start where he goes 3 1/3. You always hear about the up downs.
Yep.
Getting up, cooling down, getting back up on the mound. That's 5 innings worth right now, and that's something Mike Scioscia might be aware of too, and leaning towards going to the bullpen for the 6th.
It's a good point.
Scioscia looking at his lineup card right now.
It's pretty impressive. He only has it on 1 sheet.
You never know. It must be really small writing because there are 14 relievers to choose from.
Yeah, I just pulled up all the scouting reports on their guys in their bullpen, and it is extensive.
There are some small Division III schools that have smaller football teams, I think. than the Angels bullpen. There's guys sitting everywhere. 1-2 pitches outside for a ball. They appeal to 3rd, no swing. It's 2-2. You look at it, Plummer. Look how many.
You look at it.
Look how many people are out there. That's crazy.
They need a whole nother awning out there to put those guys under.
I mean, guys are literally sitting next to the bullpen catcher who's catching warm-up pitches. 2-2. Verlander with a strikeout to end the inning. Justin picks up his 3rd strikeout as he gets through the 5th in 1-2-3 fashion. head to the 6th inning. Justin Verlander putting up zeros for the Astros, and Garrett Richards only allowed 1 run for the Angels, but on a limited pitch count, so he will leave after 5, and the new pitcher for Los Angeles is the right-hander Blake Wood.
Blake Wood can go out there for multiple innings. He is a fastball, slider, split guy. He can pump in the mid-90s, averaging right around 96 miles an hour with that heater. So he was claimed off waivers from Cincinnati, getting an opportunity here in Anaheim. The Astros have seen him for only 1 inning. He has 1 punch out. Faced 3 Astros.
Yeah, 55 games with the Reds before he was designated for assignment, and the Angels claimed him off waivers. He will face the top of the order here. New look for the Astros after facing high-octane velocity from Garrett Richards. It'll be George Springer, Josh Reddick, and Jose Altuve. Richards went 5 innings, allowed 4 singles and a run. He struck out 4 and did not walk anybody. Richards with good command tonight. And Springer greets Blake Wood with a line drive single into right center field, cut off by Mike Trout. George has his first hit. He's a leadoff base runner in the 6th inning.
It's time to play, and it is brought to you by Toyota. Josh Reddick coming to the plate this month. Josh Reddick, yes, this month is hitting 500. His slugging percentage is right at 750. Right behind him is a guy in the ballpark, Albert Pujols, at 485. Not slugging nearly as well, but it's been a good month and hopefully a continued good finish to the season for Josh Reddick and some of the numbers he's trying to attain.
Josh thought about a bunt, takes that 96-mile-an-hour fastball outside. It's 2-0. Wood has struggled his last couple of outings. He's given up 7 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings his last 2 appearances. Josh fouls one away. 2-1. Springer first has stolen 5 bases this year. He has been caught 7 times. Astros scored a run in the 2nd inning, and so far that's the only run of the game. .97-mile-an-hour fastball, and Reddick hits himself on the side of the helmet after fouling that one off. It's 2-2. Not sure if he was upset that he chased the pitch or that he missed the pitch. Maybe he was out of the zone. You know what gets masked in that Oakland series, as difficult as it was to watch all those runs being scored, it's not like the offense after game 1 lit it up. Scored 7 runs over the last 3 games.
Yeah, they weren't helping the cause by much.
No. So it was a full team effort, and the focus obviously was all the runs late and how the bullpen just got torched by the A's offense. But this offense also hit a little run there where doubleheader scored a combined 5 runs and then only 2 runs on Sunday. Somebody's messing with Brad Peacock in the dugout.
You don't want to do that.
No.
He might snap.
All right. Whoever the culprit was, I think, has left the premises.
Yeah, we told them.
Springer on the move on the 3-2 pitch, and Reddick fouls it away. George was running there like he was pretty sure Reddick was going to make contact.
There's a 50-50 chance, if not more. That's just a 50-50 chance if he gets a hit or not.
The way he's been going, you're right. George almost got caught leaning there and now dives back. They have stayed up and out of the zone once they got to 2 strikes. Reddick smashes one on the ground out at first base. Crone tags the bag. George Springer on the move gets to second. C.J. Crone, a nice defensive play.
Yeah, it was. Saved a second run coming in, too. George was off with the pitch. If this gets by C.J. Crone, he's going to be running for a while. That was a bullet. Not easy when you're a first baseman playing in. You literally turn into that hockey goalie. Well, there's another hot corner.
Here's Jose Altuve. Couple of hard hit balls against Blake Wood in this inning. Altuve chops one towards short. Simmons makes the play, and Altuve is 0 for 3 tonight. Out number 2 in the 6th inning. Now 2 outs, a runner on second. We mentioned Carlos Correa's had better at bats the last couple of games. Has 1 extra base hit. That was the double Sunday against the A's. He's only faced Blake Wood 1 time, but that 1 at bat resulted in a home run. Correa is sitting on 20 home runs, 68 runs batted in. Carlos had an RBI in his very first at bat back off the DL. Still looking for his first since then. Astros with 1 run on 5 hits. All 5 hits have been singles. Single here could score a run. Chop foul. It's 1-1. Rangers lost tonight, so the magic number between the Astros and the Rangers for the division is down to 5. The Astros defeat the Angels. The Angels number will move to 5, and then the Rangers drops another one down to 4. Two and 1 the count. Wood has stayed away. See if he challenges Carlos here with a 2-1 count. Marwin Gonzalez waits on deck. Three and 1. Wood and Maldonado have a little discussion. There's a left-hand hitter on deck, but there's a lot of respect for the guy at the plate in Carlos Correa with a base open.
It's all right. Marwin's been a pretty clutch hitter throughout the course of the season for the Houston Astros. Also important to point out that Maldonado leads the league in visits to the mound. Probably just trying to get to know all of his new teammates. That's a stat I just made up. That's from Plumber27 at StatsInc.com. Yeah,
Plumber27 Stats Inc. Maldonado jumping around back there, and Correa fouls one back. Maldonado wanted inside, and then he jumped to the outside, trying to fake Correa out. The count's full.
Trying to mess with Springer out there at second base too.
Little meeting at second base. Phillips, Simmons, and Springer. And Correa down swinging. But Blake Wood comes back to get a strikeout, down 3-1 in the count. Astros lead 1-0. As a member of the Houston Astros with a 1-0 lead in the bottom half of the 6th inning. He will face C.J. Cron, Martin Maldonado, and then back to the top of the order. Cron popped up his first time up. Astros with a run on 5 hits. Angels have not scored on 1 hit. Verlander's also walked 1 and struck out 3. First pitch is grounded towards Correa. Carlos is there. Out number 1. Verlander a quick out to start the 6th.
It's awfully nice of CJ to get that nice, quick, easy ground ball. If you ever see a guy swing at the first pitch leading off the inning and grounds out, flies out, just makes an out, period, watch and see what the pitcher does next, because usually that second hitter hitting behind the guy will take the first pitch. Pitchers have a tendency to just pump a fastball right down the middle, try and get ahead 0-1, see if Verlander opts for that choice right here.
Yeah, Maldonado gave him a tough at bat that first time, fouling off some 2-strike pitches before Verlander finally won the battle, striking him out. So see if he can get ahead 0-1 here.
Or just throw the get-me-over slider.
That has been a really good pitch for him tonight. He's been able to spot that exactly where he wants. His stuff has been impressive, and the results match it. Ahead of Maldonado, 0-2. Verlander with a nasty slider there.
That was a really good showing of get me over slider 0-1, power slider swing and miss to go 0-2. Same pitch, different execution, different location.
And a fastball riding up and in at 96. Maldonado goes down swinging for the 2nd time tonight. That's 4 strikeouts for Verlander and 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Down and away, and then fastball up and in. You're right. Slow him down on 2 pitches and then blow the doors off him up in the zone.
So now third time through the lineup for Verlander, he will face Brandon Phillips. Phillips has the only hit of the game for the Angels. A double, first batter of the game. 3 pitches in, Verlander had to work out of the stretch with a runner on second base. Since then, he has been dominant against these Angels, retiring 16 of the next 17. Phillips takes a called strike. It's 0-1. I'm sure there are people back in Houston or in the Central Time Zone in general looking at their watches saying, I have to be up for work tomorrow, but Justin Verlander is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, he is.
It is a Twitter Tuesday. Tonight's topic is tell us about your criteria for an MVP. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Justin Verlander on 3 pitches gets Maldonado, then 3 pitches later gets Brandon Phillips. A 1-2-3 inning. High fastball. Angels 1-0. Enjoy Budweiser Happy Hour at the Brew House this Friday before the Astros game against the Mariners. Happy Hour includes $6 Budweiser signature draft beers, a live DJ, games, and much more. Visit Astros.com to get tickets now. Astros like to figure out a way to score some runs and support Justin Verlander, who has worked 6 shutout innings so far of one-hit baseball, and they will face a new pitcher for the Angels. It is the right-hander, Cam Bedrosian.
41st appearance, 221 batting average against. It was a 6.75 ERA in 3 games against the Houston Astros. This will be his 16th appearance against the Astros. He has thrown in 15 in the 3rd innings previously and given up 15 hits, 10 earned runs in those 15 in the 3rd.
Cam missed a lot of time at the beginning of the season, 53 games in all with a right groin strain, but he's been good for the Angels in their bullpen with 6 wins and 6 saves. And he'll face Marwin Gonzalez, Alex Bregman, and Carlos Beltran. See if the Astros can tack on to this 1-0 lead. It has been a night where both sides have pitched very well. Justin Verlander for the Astros, and now the 3rd pitcher on for the Angels. And a called strike to Marwin. Marwin chopped one off the plate his last time up and also popped up. He's 0 for 2.
First pitch curveball to Marwin. Cam Bedrosian is a fastball curveball guy, 94 miles an hour on that fastball, but knowing that Marwin likes to get after the heater, he starts him off with a couple off-speed pitches.
Last time the Astros were here, Cam Bedrosian wearing the Players Weekend jersey with the nicknames, and goes by the same nickname as his dad, Steve Bedrosian, Bedrock. Astros were wearing their teal hats and Miami Dolphins colored uniforms.
Those were electric.
I think you dropped Flint Tropics out there, right?
Yep. That's what they reminded me of.
But now back to the standard Astros Grays on the road. It's 1-2 to Marwin. Unfortunately, when the Astros left Anaheim, they weren't able to get back to Houston with Hurricane Harvey. Stayed a day in Arlington, then went on to Florida to take on the Rangers in that series. So kind of had to scramble for makeshift uniforms. Even though they were a home team, they wore the gray bottoms, and they still have the Players Weekend caps here.
It's good to be recognized. It's one way to do it. Does it come with batteries?
It's bright enough. Those are our seats where our buddy Manny was last time. I think that's his family. Strikeout looking for Marwin Gonzalez. That's out number 1 in the 7th. Cam Bedrosian comes in and gets a strikeout.
If it was actually Manny, you know where Julia would be. It should be easy to find.
Modern family.
She'd be sitting right next to him. But not with just the family here, she won't.
You'd sit next to him too. He's awesome.
He's back,
if I
right?
wasn't locked into this booth.
Same seats as last series?
Is he here? Are you saying he's here?
I thought that was his family that used to.
I didn't see them.
Todd's tight with them.
Man. Oh, he's right there. It's our guy.
How does TK know this before Julia?
I don't know. Is he there the whole time? We took a selfie together.
You guys are close.
He didn't tweet at you and say, hey, I'm going to be at the ball game?
Here's the cool thing. Julia asked for a selfie, and then he asked Julia for a selfie. So there you go. Julia's his biggest star.
I'm mad he didn't tell me he was coming. Via social media or something. I don't know.
Big Astros fan. Good to see he and his family back out here tonight for this series. 1-1 to Alex Bregman. And that one clips the mask of Martin Maldonado, who just looks back and says, give me a baseball.
It is pretty awesome that he's back out watching the Astros. So many times you see the fans, the team's going good. I'm going to put their colors on. I'm represent. He is out there and he's representing.
He's all about tweeting about them and representing his Astros colors for sure.
That wave was to me, guys.
Oh, check me
Really?
out.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, don't let us interrupt the ball game.
One and 2 pitch misses the outside corner. It's 2-2. Two pitches fouled away. Rico Rodriguez, Manny from Modern Family. Astros lead this game 1-0 in the 7th. Bregman 1 for 2, a single to center and a strikeout. Time is called late as Bedrosian was about to deliver the 2-2 pitch. Bregman getting time called.
I thought somebody threw the flag for delay of game.
That time of year. Bregman in the air to right field. Calhoun drifts back. He's near the track. In fact, he crosses onto the track and makes the play. Bregman hit it pretty well to right. Flagged down by Calhoun for out number 2. There are 3 other games going on right now. As you'd imagine, 2 of them are on the West Coast, Colorado and Arizona. The Dodgers trying to snap their losing streak, leading San Francisco. And there's 1 game on the East Coast going on between the Marlins and the Phillies.
Oh.
They're in the bottom half of the 15th, and the game just ended.
Philadelphia pulled it out 9-8. The bottom of the 15th.
Marlins just eliminated over the weekend from the NL East. Now Beltran pops one foul. It's near the stands. Giving it a look is Valbuena near the dugout, and it bounces into the dugout and stays in there. Astros just wrapped up a series in Oakland. That would have been an out at the Oakland Coliseum. Oh, and 1 the count to Beltran. Carlos has struck out and grounded out. Maldonado wants this pitch in the dirt. Beltran hooks it foul. And it's 0-2. Astros continue to lead the majors in runs scored on the road, but that average runs per game, which at one point this year was over 7 around the All-Star break, is down to 6.13 per game. Still the best, but runs have not been as plentiful the second half. Astros 2 games under 500 since the All-Star break. 1-2 the count to Beltran.
Carlos has just missed a couple of pitches off of Cam Bedrosian.
Towards short. Simmons backhands. Makes the play for the final out. 7th inning stretch time at Angel Stadium. The Astros still lead 1-0.
Time to reveal the results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting today. Remember, you can follow us at ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter. With the season in its final weeks, who's Altuve's biggest competition for American League MVP? Look at this close vote. My goodness. Mike Trout, 37%, beating Jose Ramirez at 31. Aaron Judge with 29. There you go.
Pretty interesting. Jose Ramirez sneaking into the mix.
Yeah, he deserves some love, especially with what the Indians are doing. Francisco Lindor's having a crazy stretch during this 20-game streak. Here is Mike Trout. Fans voting him the biggest competition for the MVP race against Altuve, and Justin Verlander misses. Trout has been on base via the walk to lead off the 4th inning. He is one of only 2 base runners tonight for the Angels. Leadoff double by Brandon Phillips and a walk to start the 4th to Mike Trout. Verlander with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Trout got a piece of it. It's 1-1. Altuve versus Trout, and again Trout missing 39 games, but even without those 39 games.
That OPS plus 195.6, are you kidding me?
Yeah, crazy.
Altuve's a great ball player, but that OPS plus number is incredible. Remember, the baseline for that is 100. Anything above 100 is a very good ball player.
1-2 the count. Back is 2-2. Angels coming in 3 games over 500 on the season, 73-70. With Trout in the lineup, they are 50-46, 4 games over. Just 1 game under during that 39-game stretch where he missed a chunk of the season, almost a quarter of the season. They definitely missed it, no doubt about it. But the team did not fall apart during his absence. 2-2 pitch, just missed the corner. It's 3-2. Trout a line out and a walk. First, 97 miles an hour.
And he's just trying to bust a heater in there. Instead, puts it on the left side of Mike Trout. There's mutual recognition between both players, acknowledging the fact that he wasn't doing that intentionally. Two-seam running fastball. Why that pad's there. Doesn't mean it hurts any less when a guy's throwing 97.
Now Trout on base. We saw Verlander check him numerous times. First time he was on base in the 4th. Just as a delivery home and a breaking ball that misses to Upton.
That was a good pitch, but I wonder if the movement of Brian McCann threw Jerry Davis off a little bit. That didn't look awful.
Not sure if McCann was expecting this breaking ball.
He crossed up with nobody on. He waved at it as it hits the bottom part of the zone, but Jerry Davis is unwilling to call it.
A little cross up there between the veteran pitcher and catcher, and it's 1-0 instead of 0-1. Pop up, foul. Gurriel and McCann give it a look and run out of room. Upton tonight is lined out to left and hit into a double play. More bullpen action for the Angels. Marrow Petit, Kenyon Middleton, a couple of right-handers warming up. Down and in, 2-1. Another foul out of play. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on the slider. Verlander gets Upton swinging. 6 strikeout, 3 in the last 2 innings, and a big out here in the 7th.
Big strikeout in the sense he struck out Justin Upton. Now a ground ball gets him out of this inning with the slow-footed Albert Pujols coming up. But at the same time, as you see on the Supermo, that slider breaking down and away well off the plate with Upton chasing it. Now 11 straight starts for Verlander with at least 6 punch-outs.
Last time Pujols batted, we showed you how deep Carlos Correa played at shortstop. Now with a double play in order, Correa back to normal depth, hoping to turn 2.
But even that is a deep shortstop and double play depth.
Starts him off with that get me over slider. First strike, it's 0-1. Pujols is grounded into 24 double plays on the year. Most in the American League and tied with Matt Kemp for the most in the major leagues. We said last time Trout was on base that Verlander throws over as much as anybody. There is a stat that shows since the beginning of last season, Verlander has in fact thrown to first well over 400 times, by far the most in the major leagues. Trying to keep Trout honest with those 20 steals and 23 attempts. Pitch misses, it's 1-1. Verlander working with the thinnest of margins. 1 run for the Astros back in the 2nd inning. Two and 1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
There's a name for this slider that you can only say in the dugout. You can't say it on air, and it is nasty. That is a nasty slider. See if he tries to double up right here and get that swing and miss.
Down and away. Count is 3-2.
It's kind of interesting with Justin Verlander out there. You really don't look at pitch counts. You just look and see how he is handling this game.
Only one pitcher, Chris Sale, throws more pitches per start than Justin Verlander. He goes 100, 110 with regularity. 3-2 pitch with Trout on the move. Fly ball in the right center field. Springer and Redeker there. George calls off Josh for out number 2. Josh is like, I could have made that catch. Big out right there. Pujols flies out to center.
And not the best slider. That was actually one I think Albert thought he should have driven to that right center field gap.
Two outs, Trout still on first, and now Verlander will go after Cole Calhoun. Both games that Verlander has pitched, he has really had to battle without really any margin. It was a 1-1 game in Seattle when he was about to be taken out of the game, and Cameron Maybin hit a 2-run home run in the 7th. This game 1-0 in the 7th. Starts Calhoun off with a breaking ball. And you just watch the competitor that is Justin Verlander and how he attacks this Angels lineup. It's a lot of fun to watch. Had a couple of battles with Trout, walked him and hit him, and then able to get Albert Pujols to fly out to center. Now trying to get Cole Calhoun ahead of the count 0-1, approaching 100 pitches on the night. High fastball, swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Good heater, slowed him down that first pitch, get me over breaking ball. Just the 2 times we've had a chance to watch Justin Verlander pitch. He is a high energy guy on the mound.
Calhoun a piece of that fastball, stays 0-2. Next pitch will be number 100 for Justin. Verlander in his Astros debut in Seattle threw 103 pitches in 6 innings. A.J. Hinch knows he has a horse out there that you could ride for 110 plus if you want.
Last time we saw Justin Verlander in a similar situation, got the punch out throwing at 99 miles an hour.
Pitch 100 is a swing and a miss for a strikeout to end the inning. Verlander, after hitting Trout to start the inning, gets the next 3, including a couple of strikeouts.
He's a horse, and he's proven his worth here in the first 2 starts as a Houston Astro. Now it's time for the offense.
Against the Seattle Mariners, and 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Houston Strong t-shirt presented by HEB. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit astros.com/promotions. Good one tonight to kick off this 3-game set in Anaheim between the Angels and the Astros. It is 1-0 as we head to the 8th inning. Justin Verlander threw 7 with 1 hit allowed. And the Astros try and tack on to this 1-run lead with Yuli Gurriel leading off against Keenan Middleton.
Yeah, you know this offense would like to put a couple more runs on that board for Justin Verlander. Keenan Middleton making the 56th appearance. He is 5-1 out of that Angels bullpen. He has thrown 49 innings, 53 punch-outs. He throws extremely hard, averaging almost 97 miles an hour on that heater. Has a changeup at 90 and a slider around 88 miles an hour.
Basketball and baseball star in college, turning 24 years old today. And he'll face Gurriel, Brian McCann, and George Springer, 8-9-1 in the Astros lineup. Yuli 2 for 2 on this game, but chops one slowly towards third. Valbuena will try and barehand, and he makes the play to get Gurriel,
who is not running well, still nursing that right knee injury. Looked like there might have been an opportunity for him to beat that out. A little chop around in front. He broke well out of the box, but about halfway to first base, you see him start to shut it down.
Valbuena retires Gurriel for the first out of the 8th. They'll bring up Brian McCann. McCann takes a called strike. Middleton, the third reliever in this game for the Angels. Blake Wood pitched the 6th. Cam Bedrosian the 7th, and now Middleton. All guys that can throw in the mid towards upper 90s. We have seen a lot of 95+ mile an hour fastballs tonight. It's 1-1 to McCann. McCann is grounded into a fielder's choice and hit into a double play. In case you're curious what A.J. Hinch thinks about Justin Verlander and his pitch count, there is absolutely nobody moving in the Astros bullpen. Verlander threw 7 with 100 pitches.
Bottom 4 in the Angels lineup coming up. Sure, Brent Strom and A.J. are going over the options out there in the bullpen, but as of right now, Justin Verlander is the better option.
McCann gets into one towards center field. That's a base hit. That's going to head all the way to the wall. McCann with extra bases. Trout slips. But McCann's going to slide in safely with a 1-out double. Brian McCann reaching base in 11 straight games since coming off the DL.
Last time we were here, he had the bases juiced and hit a triple. Going to the same gap, this time on a line. Good job staying on that fastball from Middleton.
A.J. Hinch called it his favorite triple of his career. That was a big triple.
Not many to choose from.
Oh, A.J. Hinch's favorite that he watched as a manager. Yeah, Brian McCann's had 5 to choose from. Here's George Springer.
League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Most home runs versus the American League West. George Springer in there right behind Chris Davis. We just saw up in Oakland, who didn't do any damage against the Astros. There was all those other guys around Chris Davis, but George Springer with 18.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy when I didn't even think about that aspect with all those runs being scored.
Yeah. Crush Davis on the left coast is the one you were worried about, and he didn't really do all that much.
Had a 2 RBI base hit, but no home runs. Not a whole lot in that offensive barrage by the A's. Springer is 1 for 3 tonight. Singled into right center field his last time up. Down in the count to Middleton, 0-2. Middleton able to get Springer on 3 pitches.
Slider, slider, slider.
Yep. You know, not only did Brian McCann have that triple here, one of the bigger hits of the year, I was trying to remember what year he won the All-Star MVP for the Braves. It was here.
Yeah.
2010. He likes this place.
Sees the ball good.
Here's Josh Reddick. Let's see if Josh can bring home an extra run here. Astros still leading by that 1-0 score. McCann in scoring position as Reddick takes a strike. It's 0-1. Josh looking for his first hit tonight. It struck out flat out and grounded out. Middleton ahead 0-2. Reddick's helmet almost flew off.
Hey, good time for a talk.
Martin Maldonado and Keenan Middleton. McCann's double with 1 out in the 8th. The first extra base hit for the Astros tonight. 5 singles in that double by McCann. So not a lot of offensive threats. 3 of those hits combined in the 2nd inning for the game's only run. Yuli Gurriel singling in Carlos Correa. Reddick trying to battle down in the count 0-2. Doesn't chase there. It's 1-2. Middleton has become a big part of Mike Scioscia's bullpen this season. Picked up his first win against the Astros. Ground ball towards first. Crone has it. He will race Reddick to the bag, and Josh loses that race by a step. Justin Verlander out for the bottom half of the 8th inning in a 1-0 game.
Xfinity, August 26th of 2015. Justin Verlander threw a 1-hit complete game shutout versus the Angels. That was the last shutout complete game Justin Verlander threw.
Verlander starts this inning at 100 pitches. Josh outstanding in that game at Comerica Park. Now in his second start with the Astros, has allowed 3 base runners, a double, a walk, and a hit batsman, and he faces Andrelton Simmons, Luis Valbuena, and C.J. Cron in the 8th. Simmons has popped up and grounded out. Verlander's 7th shutout of his career, that last one coming in 2015. Breaking ball sent in the air to left. Josh Reddick is there. Reddick has moved from right to left. They've done the Cupid shuffle plus an addition with Marwin Gonzalez moving from left to first. So Reddick is in left. New center fielder is Jake Marisnick. George Springer moves to right. And Marwin Gonzalez is the first baseman.
Tell you what, Andrelton Simmons is helping out. Swinging at the first pitch.
Here's Luis Valbuena. Valbuena has struck out a couple of times. Verlander has 7 strikeouts. And in the category of sometimes this guy gets stronger as the game goes along, Verlander has struck out 4 of the last 8 outs recorded have been via the strikeout. Got Valbuena back in the first, in the second, and also in the 5th. Pitch misses away. It's 1-1. Impressive to see that velocity just never wavers. Second inning, third inning, 7th inning, 8th inning. At the total pitch count right now, where he finished in 6 innings of work in Seattle in his first Astros start. Fastball away. It's 2-1. A.J. Hinch not messing around. He's going from Justin Verlander to Ken Giles, warming up in the bullpen. Not often this year has the starter handed the ball off to the closer. 2-1 pitch is sliced foul, and the count evens at 2 apiece.
Yeah, last inning we saw Brian McCann with that double getting into second base. And my first thought process, even though I didn't vocalize it, was maybe that's a good spot to have a pinch runner going for Brian McCann. But I think the guy on the bump right now in the 8th inning might be the reason why Brian McCann stayed at second base.
They have worked brilliantly tonight as a strikeout of Valbuena. 3rd time he has struck out. Verlander's 8th strikeout of the game, and there's 2 away in the 8th.
Join the Astros for Saturday's game against the Mariners as 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Super Springer diving catch bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions.
Here's C.J. Cron. He takes a strike on the corner at 96. Cron has popped up and grounded out. Fourteen starts this year of the 29 for Verlander, so nearly half. He has thrown 110 pitches or more, so this is nothing new for him as he approaches 110 tonight. Two and one to count to Cron. Strike on the corner, and it's 2-2. Cron wasn't sure about that call. Verlander caught the corner.
Hey, you go out there and prove that you're a workhorse. You're going to get benefit of the doubt every once in a while.
the chase there. Now the count's full.
Called third strike. Verlander striking out 6 of the last 10 outs in this game as he gets a called third strike to Crone,
And he is through 8 with a 1-hit shutout.
You just saw something very special in Justin Verlander. Again, I'm going to implore that the offense backs this right arm up. That was special.
Justin Verlander gets a big hug from Brian McCann, his catcher. His 30th start of the season, his best. Fewest base runners all year long. 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, 8 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball.
Just a man doing work. That's why he's here. That's why he's worth it. My only question is, did he get a handshake from George Springer?
I didn't see it.
Gosh, because that was well worth it. Is it not incredible to watch? He understands the responsibility he has to this ball club. And the last 2 starts, in incredible fashion, he's gone out there and done it.
It's a season filled with ebbs and flows, but the Astros are coming off perhaps their worst series of the season. 4-game set in Oakland, didn't look good, needed the off day, didn't have any momentum going, and Justin Verlander pitches an absolute gem. Jose Altuve looks for his first hit tonight as he faces a new pitcher for the Angels. Yusmeiro Petit in this 1-0 game. Becomes a 4th reliever for Mike Scioscia.
Petit a little bit different than Keenan Middleton, and we just saw fastball averages under 90 miles an hour. But he's a 4-pitch pitcher with the changeup, curveball, and cut fastball to back up the 90-mile-an-hour heater.
First guy that they face tonight that doesn't throw 95. Pitch outside to Altuve, misses. 1-1. Jose has struck out and grounded out to short a couple of times. It'll be Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Marwin Gonzalez. Justin Verlander has done his job, pitching his finest game of the year in a building where he hadn't had much success over the years, in Angel Stadium. Altuve takes a strike there. It's 1-2. Highest career ERA in any stadium coming into tonight was his 5.98 in this ballpark. But that turned around tonight in a time when the Astros really needed it. On the ground, Simmons so smooth at short. His throw is low though, and Crone makes the pick.
Altuve retired for the third consecutive time on a ground ball to shortstop. Altuve now 0 for 4 overall, and that'll bring up Carlos Correa. Correa has scored the game's only run. He singled and came across on a Yuli Gurriel base hit back in the second inning. He's also flied to center and struck out. It'll be Ken Giles' ninth inning. You will have the number 9 hitter due up and then the top of the Angels order. He misses inside to Correa. It's 1-0.
Good time for Carlos's first home run since coming back off the DL.
Called strike. It's 1-1. There are many different ways to see an exciting game of baseball, but there's not many better games than a 1-0 contest where everything hangs on every pitch. And tonight Justin Verlander knew he had the thinnest of margins to work with, and he stepped up and took care of business through 8 innings. I totally agree with you about the Brian McCann on second base scenario. That's absolutely wanted to keep McCann in there, and you saw those two embrace after the outing tonight. That was a big moment for both of them. 1-2 pitch, tries to shoot the corner on Correa, and it's 2-2. Carlos had 20 home runs before the DL stint, looking for his first. As Blummer said, this would be a perfect time for it. Give Ken Giles a little more of a breather. Instead, it's on the ground. Valbuena is there. And Correa retired. He's 1 for 4 tonight. 2 outs, nobody on. Marwin Gonzalez will bat. Well, as good as Justin Verlander has been, the combination of Garrett Richards and 4 relievers have been very good for the Angels. Richards allowed 4 singles in 5 innings. The 4 relievers so far have allowed just 2 base hits in 3 2/3. Base is empty for Marwin with 2 outs in the 9th. Marwin swings ahead of that pitch. It's 0-1. On a night when somebody other than Justin Verlander was pitching, the Angels might be trying to close out this game. But instead they are down in the 9th inning 1-0. Takes a pitch down low. It's 1-1. Giles is ready, just flipping the baseball. He is ready for the bottom half of the 9th inning. Martin Maldonado due up, followed by Brandon Phillips and Mike Trout. Giles was warming in the 8th inning. Would have been a very tough call for A.J. Hinch had Justin Verlander walked C.J. Cron with 2 outs in the 8th. He was already over 110 pitches. A.J. hasn't had to go out and get his right-hander at any point in the first 2 starts. That would have been a very difficult decision. Glad he didn't have to make it. I'm sure he's more happy about it.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. As much as you kind of want to see what would happen, you really don't want to see it happen.
2-1 to Marwin. And now a 3-1 count. If Marwin gets on, Alex Bregman gets a shot. It's amazing the demeanor change. now that he knows he's out of the game. Laser focused through 8 innings and now relaxing and blowing bubbles.
He earned it.
Absolutely.
Man, I'd be in there having a good time too if I just put up an 8-inning, 1-hit outing.
He has acclimated himself along with Cameron Maben as well as he possibly can with this group in the shortest amount of time. Stays alive. Hits tonight have been spread out, but mostly towards the bottom of the lineup. 2 hits for Gurriel, 1 hit for McCann. Top 3 in the lineup, Springer, Reddick, and Altuve, just 1 for 12 combined. Barwin looking for his first hit. Popped up, grounded out, and struck out. On the ground towards Brandon Phillips. And Marwin retired for the final out in the 9th. We have a 1-0 game heading to the bottom half of the 9th. Ken Giles will try and finish it out when we come back. On AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. The Big A Angel Stadium has seen quite a game to kick off this 3-game series. The Astros scoring a run back in the 2nd inning. The Angels shut down on 1 hit through 8 as we head to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and the Astros will turn to their closer, Ken Giles.
Ken Giles has 2 saves in the month of September. He got number 28 in Game 2 against the New York Mets back at home, and then he picked up save number 29 on September 5th against the Seattle Mariners. 1 bad pitch against the Oakland A's, but he just looked pretty good to finish off August and to start off September.
He will face Ben Revere as a pinch hitter for Martin Maldonado. Revere is the leading pinch hitter for Mike Socha, 6 for 21 on the season. It'll be now Revere, then Brandon Phillips and Mike Trout. Justin Verlander was brilliant tonight in his 2nd start as an Astro. 8 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 hit batsman. Phillips, the only Angel to get as far as 2nd base. He did that to start the game as a leadoff hitter in the 1st. Miles misses with the first 2. It's 2-0, 99 down low.
This will be a great bounce back outing for Ken Giles.
Into center field. Jake Marisnick's there, makes the play. Hit well by Revere, but right at the Astros center fielder for out number 1.
Outs is outs. Doesn't matter how you get them. Just get those outs. It's good to keep that Speedy Revere off the base paths also.
Tied for the team lead with 20 steals. That is a big out for Giles, and now Brandon Phillips back. Phillips, the only Angel to reach second base against Justin Verlander with that leadoff double, and after that it was lights out for the Angels against Verlander. He sends one towards right. Springer trying to get there, drops in for a hit. Springer will barehand and make the throw to second, and Phillips safe, but he left the bag. He is out. He did not stay on the bag, and Correa hung with the tag, and he is out at second base. Big out for out number 2 in the bottom half of the 9th.
That's tough luck if you're an Angel fan. That's great luck if you're a Houston Astro fan. Carlos Correa, fundamentally sound. Kind of started out there with George Springer getting to the baseball. Bare hand and a laser to second base. Forced Brandon Phillips into that slide situation. And he can sit there and point at Carlos Correa all he wants. He came off the bag. Might have been a little bit of a nudge.
That's the argument Mike Scioscia has for Pat Hoberg. He's now taking it up with the crew chief Jerry Davis. Both Phillips and Scioscia contending that Carlos Correa helped Phillips off the bag here.
Mattress Firm Supermo shows that tag being put on the left knee. Maybe a little extra emphasis on that tag. Not only is Carlos Correa a good ball player, there's just a little bit of savvy veteran in there.
It was a combination of Correa applying the tag, but Phillips was losing his balance also. It was a little bit of both.
It was a little encouragement on Correa's part.
Now, Ken Giles facing Mike Trout with the bases empty and 2 outs. Tries the slider and misses the corner. It's 1-0.
I believe the term is gamesmanship, maybe?
Trout has reached base twice. Was hit by a pitch last time on the elbow and also walked. Tried to hold up. He went around. It's 1-1. Ground ball towards third. Bregman has it. Makes the play. Astros win. 1-0. A combined 2-hit shutout. Justin Verlander for 8 brilliant innings, and Ken Giles picking up the 9th. That is a much-needed win and quite a start by the late August acquisition, Justin Verlander. Astros win the first game of this 3-game series. They win it by the final score of 1-0. They snap a 4-game losing streak, and we will have plenty more from Anaheim, including the post-game show after this.
Nice job, Matt.